I started my journey in this dating and personal development world in about 2010, and I've noticed that every single guy that consumes dating content online falls into one of two categories. And that is something that I've only noticed after many years, after seeing these guys again and again. Unfortunately, the vast majority of them, and when I say vast majority, I mean probably more than 95% of the guys, I see them again years down the line and nothing has changed. They haven't gotten better at talking to girls, they haven't grown their confidence. They didn't change anything about their appearance, about how they talk, and they're not even better at talking to guys. And none of them lives their dream dating life. None of them. And then there's this second group that I see again 2 years down the line, and I'm always impressed when that happens because it's so rare, that are absolutely crushing it. And it would be easy to say, well, that one group, they just look better and make more money, but that is unfortunately not the case. That's simply not how it goes. The reason why most people don't succeed in this is because they don't learn the skill set the proper way. Now, dating is a skill set. Just to reiterate this, it's a skill set consisting of many sub skills. But if you don't improve every one of these skill sets a little bit, then you're not going to get better. If you improve every one a little bit, that will compound over time and you will drastically improve your overall dating skill set. And when I mean subsets, I mean things like the way you look, improving what you can about your appearance, your fashion, your fitness, how you approach people, your confidence, your ability to hold a conversation, your ability to make that conversation emotional, making it interesting, your ability to create a connection with other people. All of these things, to name just a few, are things that you can work on, that you can improve, that are sub-skills to the overall dating skill set. The problem with dating, and I'm going to use an analogy because I just watched UFC 329, I think it was Conor McGregor against Max Holloway. Very disappointing fight, but that's another story. Fighting is very similar to dating in that regard. The way you learn a skill is by taking action, getting feedback by getting a result. So you take action and then you get a positive or a negative outcome. That is feedback, and then you reapply it. And slowly, by having these cycles of taking action, getting feedback, and reapplying yourself, you will gradually improve. Now, you can massively accelerate this by getting somebody who knows what they're doing to take a look at why you are getting these positive or negative results, and what you can do differently to accelerate that progression. But there is no way around this to learning any skill set. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about fighting is that in fighting, it's very similar in that most men think, it's very similar to dating, most men think that they're good at fighting or that they understand how it works, just like in dating, but they don't really get any real exposure. They just watch it on a screen. Now, if you imagine that you want to learn fighting and the only way you're going to do it is by either looking at a screen or maybe telling yourself that you will learn it through the bar fights that you get in once a year. Compare that to the guy who is training 6 to 8 hours every single day. Do you think that you will stand a chance against this guy? And yes, there might be this rare 1 in 1,000 chances where you might actually stand a chance, where you get lucky, you get a lucky hit, just like some guys can get a lucky shot with a girl, but that is not skill. Skill is what you can apply again and again and get consistent results in. And the only way to get there is through action, feedback, and applying yourself again. Now, if you go through enough feedback loops, here's exactly what's going to happen. You will go from unconscious incompetence, which is where most men are stuck. Most men are in this level where they don't know what they need to do, they don't know what they need to do differently, and they're just not aware that it's a problem in the first place or that it's something that they can work on. They are blissfully ignorant, you could say. And when you start reading about these things, watching videos, and maybe starting to apply yourself a little bit, you start becoming consciously incompetent. So you start noticing all of the things that you're not aware of. You start learning about them. So you become conscious of your own incompetence. The problem is that even this level requires you to take action to fully become aware of it, because only through actually taking action you will become aware of all of the things that you're incompetent about, that you might not even know about until you start taking action and you find out. So by starting to take action and reading, you become consciously incompetent. By then applying yourself again and again and again and again and again and again, you go through these feedback loops and you will eventually become unconsciously competent, where you know what you're doing, you understand what needs to be done, and you're able to do it repeatedly again and again. And when you have done that a sufficient number of times, you will reach a level where you become unconsciously competent, where it's just second nature and you don't need to think about it anymore. Unfortunately, most men are stuck somewhere between the first and the second layer. They're not aware of everything that needs to be changed, of everything that can be changed. And because they never really start taking action and they don't get the right information, they never even move to the second layer. And practically nobody ever moves to the third layer, right? That's a very small percentage of men, even of those that actually start with this. Most men don't consume the right information because unfortunately nowadays there is so many people spreading information on YouTube that is just incorrect. It's not like there's this one true source like it was back in the day, like the Bible, where you have like one source. This is it. We don't think about anything else. This is what we apply. No, there's all these different guys out there that spill their God-given truth, right? What I share with you guys is not stuff that I came up with. It is stuff that works from 14 years of application, from working with other coaches, from taking things that worked for them, from taking things that they have taught hundreds of other men. That is what I'm sharing. None of this is my original concepts. It's just the stuff that works from a high level of understanding. But unfortunately, many men nowadays put themselves into this position where they think they're in a position to teach because they've done something for 6 months, and that is simply usually not enough. So there's a lot of incorrect or incomplete information out there. Now, on top of that information, most men don't take action, and because of the lack of action, there's a lack of feedback loops, and when we have a lack of feedback loops, there cannot be any improvement. And as long as there's no improvement, you will not find out what else you need to improve on. So you remain on the first or maybe the second layer. And let's go back to the fighting analogy. Most guys with dating, they do a little bit of the same that most guys do with fighting, i.e. you sit in front of a screen and you watch fighting occasionally and you maybe have an opinion, you yell at the fighters, you're like, do a takedown, defend that better, or like punch him properly, right? That's what most guys do. Only once you train, you start realizing how hard it is. You start realizing all of the things that you need to change. And then over time, by training more, you start becoming competent, you get better at it, and you start seeing new blind spots. Oh, actually, I need to change my hook, or I need to keep my defense up better, or whatever it is, right? You notice that only through application, exactly like with dating. And now, just like with dating, when you train for a fight, you train kickboxing or you train MMA, you have a coach that will point out these blind spots and help you overcome them. And that's the same thing with dating. You could probably learn it by yourself. It will just take a lot longer. But since most people are not even able to take the initial action, how are they even going to get to a point where they can take action? And the reason I wanted to make this video is because it's something that I'm seeing so often. These guys that are in this for years, that are not progressing, and then usually after doing this for a long time without any progress, they start to feel this frustration with women, the frustration with themselves, the frustration with the world. And that is something that can be avoided or that you can get out of. So if that is you, don't give up hope. Start taking action. It is literally the only way out. It's the only way forward, is taking a ton of action, just seeing it as skill improvement rather than expecting something to happen from day one. If you want my help with this, let's hop on a call. Let's have a chat about your situation, about what you need to improve. By the end of that call, I can promise you, you will know what you need to do. You can then decide whether you want to do this with me, whether you want my help with it or not, but you will know what to do. And with that said, thanks for watching. I'll see you in one of my next videos.